Last cycle, Aave was one of the best altcoins to hold. And from the start of 2020, it had an over 60,000% return. And now Aave is in an even better position to be a top DeFi altcoin this cycle. And one of the reasons is the charts, which we're going to go over in a second, but another reason is something that I had overlooked my entire crypto journey thus far. I have always looked at total value locked as a way to determine hot DeFi coins, but there's an even better metric to measure versus total value locked, and that's total value lent. That's right, it's something I've never even thought about. DC Investor here talking about Aave, absolutely slaying it. Said it 4 years ago and even more plausible today. It's a non-zero chance Aave becomes the largest bank in the world, on-chain or off-chain. And here we're looking at growth of on-chain lending, not total value lock. So here's the Ethereum lending TVL. And so this is actual money that is being lent out, not just a whale locking up 1,000 ETH and really not touching it for a year. This is active participants within the ecosystem. And when we look at what Aave is doing, Aave is crushing the competition. And the way I like to look at total value lending versus total value locked is think of a physical mall. You can have all the foot traffic in the world, but if it's just a bunch of silver sneakers walking around, that doesn't mean you're actually successful. Now, before we get into the charts, there's 4 reasons I am mega bullish. Now, they did just upgrade their protocol 3.3, so now it's a lot more optimized. Second, they have whales buying more and more Aave, and they have such an insatiable appetite for the Aave. They're borrowing USDT to acquire Aave, and so they're levered up trying to buy this token. Number 3, Trump's World Liberty Financial is using Aave. And then the 4th reason, Aave trying to really get into the Athena game with Pendle. And if you don't know Athena is a competitor to Circle and Tether. And Athena just became the 3rd largest stablecoin. They just flipped DAI. So they're trying to be the go-to spot for some serious players, including the president and the top 3 stablecoin. All right, so now we're at the charts. I know a lot of you, this is your favorite part, so we're gonna get right into it. And I'm gonna show a lot of these hands, and I'm gonna explain what these things mean in a minute. Now, I said there's a lot of growth, but there's also some serious pullbacks. And with these serious pullbacks is some serious opportunity. And last cycle, Aave kind of did a lot of the same things. It kept doing around the same kind of pullback. Now we're looking on a log chart, so it's hard to tell, but that's between a 60 and 70% drawdown right there. If we go to the next drawdown right here, we had yet another between 60 and 70% drawdown. We're doing one more time before we reach the peak, yet again around a 60, 70% drawdown. And then you can see right when we ended up topping out, very quickly, it had another 70% drawdown. So Aave, major moves last time. But what about this cycle? So that was weekly candles. Now we're going to go to switch to daily because we don't have as much time in this cycle right now. But I saw the same situation, but it wasn't 60%, it wasn't 70%, but we still saw the same type of pullbacks here. I think I got even one more. Now this is where it gets shocking just how close everything is. So we're gonna measure from that peak right there, and you can see right here, 24% pullback. We do it one more time, we got the peak right there, we end up measuring this 24% pullback. But wait, I'm not done. We got one more right here. What is that? Oh, what do you know? 24% pullback, and lo and behold, we had the flush out. We had all the leverage. Yet again, 24% pullback. So we're seeing the same measurement every single time. So folks, this is your opportunity. Now, it's too late to catch the wick, unless you did, in which case, congratulations. But if you look back at the previous cycle, so you didn't catch the dip and you jumped in right here, still a great time. You didn't catch the dip, you bought in right here, still a great time. Still from here, you didn't catch the dip, you bought in, it's already at the previous all-time high. What do you know? You still had a 7x. And I'm seeing a similar situation with Aave right now. And so while we are already pulled back to the previous level before the pullback, I still think in the long run, this is going to be huge. But one more thing in the charts I wanted to show you, and that involved the RSI. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove my big fat alien head, and we're gonna go back to the weekly candles here, because this is gonna be very important. Let's hide the hands. Now, on the bottom of this chart, you're going to see something called the Relative Strength Index. Now, this is what they normally call the overbought section, and this is the oversold section. But don't always think of it as overbought. Just think of it as there's a lot of strength in the RSI at these levels. So there's a lot of strength in the market. Now, you saw we peaked into the quote-unquote overbought area 2 times, and then we had a sustained leg up. Now we're going to go back to a regular chart, kind of see what we're talking about here. So boom, peaked into it, boom, peaked into it, and then the real bull run began. How long did this last? So we first wicked into it, And then we honestly didn't leave until right here. So that was about 567 days. Now let's measure to where we're at right now. We're seeing the same thing. We peaked into it twice, and then we had a reset. Peaked into it twice, then we had a reset, and then the third time we came into it, it was a little bit more of a sustained move. Now, this time you can see we dipped below before we dipped back in, but now we are deeply, deeply into a lot of strength, and I think it's going to mimic kind of what we're seeing right here. A lot of strength is going to be in this DeFi market. But that was 567 days. So what are we looking at right here? So let's go when we first make a real move into the overbought territory, and 567 days is going to be July 2025. That is right. You still got more than half a year to make your moves when it comes to Aave if history is going to repeat or somewhat rhyme. Now, potentially, I think it could top out in Q3 or Q4 in the post-halving year 2025. But that's not what happened last time. If you see right here, in the first half of the year, not the second half. Now, Bitcoin put in a new all-time high here. A lot of coins put in a new all-time high in the second half of the year, including Ethereum, including Cardano. Aave was not one of those coins. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do top out in Q2 or Q3 of next year. It might not make it all the way to Q4. So that is my breakdown for Aave. Now, if you do want a price prediction here, I do think this could play out with the Fibonacci. Now, the way that we do that is measure from the top to the bottom there, and then we can see, does this respect it? Does it respect the levels? And it certainly does seem like it respects the levels, so that means it might respect the next level to the upside, and the next level to the upside is going to be right at $1,000, about 50 bucks above. So I wouldn't be surprised if Aave hits within 100 bucks of 1,000 from that $900 to $1,100 range. And if you look at where we're at right now, 272, you're looking at about a 4x from these levels. So that's what I got. That's my Aave breakdown, and hopefully I'll see you and your diamond-handed DeFi bags at the top.